Very good morning to another lecture. And last class was a little abstract. And in this class, we will try to see a couple of examples, um, to understand this abstract things that we had seen in the last lecture. So just a quick review that in the last class, we wanted to measure a quantity, let's say a Q vector, um, with respect to two different frames. So not just Q vector, we wanted to measure the rate of change of Q vector, right? So we wanted to measure Q dot in the capital XYZ frame. So capital XYZ was a fixed frame. And then we had the small XYZ frame, which was a frame from which we observed the motion. And after this, derivation, this is the final expression that we obtained. What it says that if I have two reference frames, like you can see here, just give me a minute, I have to connect my pen. Okay. So if we have two reference frames here, one is capital XYZ, which is the fixed reference frame. And we have another reference frame, small xyz, which is rotating with an angular velocity omega. And from this rotating reference frame, we measure a quantity q. So what we have derived and what the expression is that the rate of change of q with respect to time as measured from the fixed reference frame is equal to the rate of change of q with respect to time as measured from the small xyz frame, plus there is an additional term here which is omega cross q, plus the omega is the angular velocity of this rotating reference frame cross product with the q vector. So these are all vector equations. Please, I may put a bar, I may not put a bar, and generally I may not put a bar, but from now onwards everything is vectors, right? So by default you have to assume. So when I say cross, it is not just multiplication, it is a cross product of two vectors. So this is the expression, that generalized expression that we have derived. Now what we saw in yesterday class, last class, that q vector taking the shape of r vector. So if q is replaced by a position vector r, it means that if I want to measure um, velocity of a point P, let us say I have a point P here, and this is a frame which is small xyz frame. And if this frame is rotating with an angular velocity omega, and if I have got a point P which is which has got a position vector r um, with respect to this frame xyz, and now if I want to express and if I know the velocity of point P with respect to the frame small xyz, and just for the convenience, let me call this center of this frame as point B, right? So I can write this as small xyz, or I can write this as velocity of point P with respect to frame B, right? So B is basically is a replacement for small xyz, or I can say origin of the frame of this small xyz. So if this quantity is known to us, velocity of P, with respect to B. Sometimes in book you will also find this term as V relative. So if it is the relative velocity of point P as observed from a rotating reference frame B, then I can write, we have derived this expression that velocity of point P is equal to velocity is equal to omega cross um, omega cross r plus velocity of point P with respect to point B. So, or yeah, so this is your velocity of point B as observed from small xyz. So this term is same as this term here, and omega cross r is this term here, right? So this is the expression for velocity that we have derived. Now there is one more addition which I would like to make here. Now suppose this velocity of point B, if this frame is also moving with a velocity of VB, then we would also have an additional term velocity of point B. So right now what we had assumed that this reference was not moving, but if this reference was also moving, then we will have this generalized term here. And again, we will review this once again, so don't worry. Now, if I further differentiate this expression to get the acceleration of point P, then again we differentiated this expression here, and what we get is omega dot cross r plus omega cross again d by dt of r vector, but this has to be in xyz frame, and again it requires one more conversion plus this term here. And by doing again this conversion, we obtained this generalized expression for acceleration. So acceleration of point P as observed from the fixed frame is equal to omega dot of the rotating frame from where we are observing cross the r product r vector plus 2 omega vector this is the relative velocity of point B as observed from small xyz or its origin B, right? So this is your relative velocity plus omega cross r plus acceleration of your of point P with respect to your B or small xyz, right? And if your frame B is also moving with an absolute acceleration, then we have to add another term which is acceleration of frame B, right? So for the timing, I'll skip it here. So I'll add one more. I'll just rewrite the expressions just for the clarity of what we are doing. So we have this capital X, Y, Z, and then we have small x, y, z with center B, origin B, and from here we are observing a point P. So this one is fixed, and this is rotating with an angular velocity omega, and it has the origin has got an velocity VB and an acceleration AB, right? So this frame, small xyz frame, is having an angular velocity omega. Now again, omega is independent of your reference frame because it is of the body. So this is of the reference frame xyz. This frame itself is moving with a velocity of, let's say, VB. The origin, the center is moving with VB and has got an acceleration AB. Everything is with respect to ground. From here, we observe a point P, right, with a position vector of r. That's what we are observing here. And the final expressions that what we have derived is velocity of point P is equal to velocity of frame B plus omega cross r. These are all vectors, plus the velocity of point P with respect to point B, or V relative, right? So this is the relative velocity of point B as observed from frame B. So the idea is that it will be easier to observe point P from the frame B, or from the origin B, and then convert the everything to the fixed frame. So this is the general expression for velocity, right? And similarly, the expression for the general expression for acceleration is as follows. Acceleration of point B, P, as observed from the fixed frame is equal to acceleration of the frame itself. So acceleration of B plus omega dot cross r. So this omega dot is basically your alpha of your frame small xyz. Omega dot cross r in all vectors plus omega cross r plus 2 times omega cross velocity of P with respect to the frame small xyz or B, plus the acceleration of P with respect to B. So this is like your R double dot term, right? And yeah, so this is your final expression, which is for a very generalized case. And we will see in this class some applications and examples to better understand these abstract things. Okay, so let us take one first example. So this is, let's say we have got two airplanes. One airplane is moving in a pure circular motion with radius of curvature as, let's say, 400 meters. And then we have another airplane which is moving horizontally. So currently, it's a simple example. Everything is in a plane, right? So it's not a 3D. It's just in XY plane, just for simplicity. So this is my small x axis, and this is the y axis. And so now you can see that this is, let us call this as plane P, and this is plane B. So now you can see that this frame B is actually rotating with an angular velocity omega is equal to V by R, right? So this, okay, so the velocities are given to us. So this plane P is moving with a velocity of 100 meter per second, and velocity of plane B is again horizontal. So both are moving with respect to ground at this instant, both are moving horizontally with a velocity of, this is 150 meter per second. So let us put this as I cap. This is also I cap. So both velocities are given to us. And the question is to find the relative velocity of P with respect to, or as observed from B, and acceleration of P as observed from B. That is the question. Okay, if we did not have all these knowledge and all these understanding, uh, by your basic JEE mechanics, the answer would be that plane P is moving in the minus x direction with a velocity of 50 meter per second. That would have been the ordinarily answer, because at this instant this is moving with 150, this at this instant this is moving with 100. So obviously there is the relative velocities 50, the minus x direction. What we will see is that the answer, it is not, because this frame is rotating frame. Point B is a rotating with an angular velocity of omega, and therefore it is not going to be so obvious. So if this is going to be, if this is rotating with an angular velocity of omega, and let's first calculate the omega. So omega is equal to VB by rho, and this number are given to us. So yeah, you can calculate this number. This will come out to be, let's say, 0.375 radians per second, and this is going to be in the out of the plane, so it's k cap out of the board. So that's omega vector. Now, since we are observing things from a rotating reference frame, we have to use this equation that velocity of point P is equal to velocity of the frame B itself plus omega cross r vector plus the velocity of P as observed from B. So this is what we have seen just now, this equation. Velocity of point P as from fixed or from the ground is equal to velocity of the observing frame plus the omega of the rotating frame cross the position vector r of the point from the rotating frame plus the relative velocity of point P as observed from point B. So same idea goes here. So this is the equation that we have written. Now velocity of point P, we know it is 100 I cap. Velocity of point B at this instant is 150 I cap plus. Now this is rotating with omega, so therefore we have to use this expression. I mean, this is non-zero, so 0.375 k cap cross r product. So from here we measure it is downward. So and this distance is also given. So this distance is 100 meters. It's not mentioned right now. R is equal to 100 meters. So it's in the negative direction. So it is minus 100 j cap. Yeah, plus the velocity of P as observed from B. Now, this is what we wanted to find out. And now you can see that because of rotating frame, this extra term comes here, omega cross R. So we have, you remember the Q was replaced by R for velocity analysis, and this extra term omega cross R actually makes the difference in the the minus 50 I cap what we were ordinarily getting. So if we calculate this extra term here, and then if we calculate velocity of P with respect to B, this turns out to be minus 87 point something, 87.5 I cap meter per second. So you can see by ordinary logic, it would have been 50, but now it has changed from 50 to 87. So it makes a good amount of difference. So that's the very simple application of the first this thing. The second equation, second part is acceleration of point P as observed from B. Again, same logic. So we will now use this equation here. Copy this. Okay, so now we will use this equation here, and acceleration of point P, we know it is 0 because this is given to move at a constant velocity, and this velocity magnitude is constant, but since it is rotating about with omega, so it has got an acceleration of um, omega square r or v square by r. So acceleration of point P is equal to 0, but acceleration of point B is equal to v square by rho. And this is in the j cap. So, so now in this equation, this term is known, this term is known. Omega dot, it is given that it is moving with constant, omega, or the velocity of B was constant. So this is 0. This term can be calculated, omega cross r. In fact, yeah, so this term can be calculated, and to omega cross omega is known. Vp with respect to B, we have just calculated. This is Vp with respect to B. So this is known, this is known. So all terms are known except this term, and therefore this term can be evaluated. Right. So yeah, so again, you can do the calculations, and that's how we use this idea of uh, rotating a reference frame to uh, yeah, solve the problems. Okay, now let me have add one more concept, and then we will solve another example again to understand it better. So another concept is motion about a fixed point. Now this is again a very special type of motion where we know that the motion is going to take place about a fixed point. And just to give you an example, what we are going to solve is something like this. So now here you can see that this whole cap is going to rotate with an angular velocity of omega 1 about the OY axis, and at the same time this boom is going to rotate with an angular velocity of omega 2 about the z axis. So likewise rigid body can have multiple angular velocities in different directions, and things can take place, the whole motion is taking place about a fixed point. So let's say we have this rigid body, and there is some point about which it is rotating in two different directions. Two different directions need not be perpendicular, it can be in any two directions. So let us say about this axis it is rotating like this. So it has got an angular velocity of omega 1, and about this axis it has got an angular velocity of omega 2. So this is omega 1 vector and omega 2 vector. So if we can describe the motion of this body by two separate angular velocities, omega 1 in one direction and omega 2 in another direction, then there is a detailed some more detailed mathematical derivations which I'm not doing. But what we can show that the angular velocity of the body is represented by vector summation of the two, or different angular velocities. So the basic idea is the angular velocities obey vector law of addition. the angular velocities, they follow the vector law of addition. That is just like normal velocity. So if I have angular velocity in one direction and if I have another angular velocity in another direction, then the net resultant angular velocities is going to be a vector summation of this. A very interesting thing to note, just to note, is that the finite rotations, they don't follow or they don't obey vector law of addition. So for example, if I have got this rigid body here, if I rotate it first about omega 1 and then after, so not omega, so I'm talking about finite rotation. So I'll write it down. Finite rotation do not obey vector law of addition. Now, this is something very funny and very interesting, that the derivative of finite rotations of your infinitesimal rotation. So infinitesimal rotation, they obey vector law, but finite rotations, they don't obey the vector law of addition. So what do I mean by finite rotations? So let's say if I have a rigid body, first instant I rotate it by some finite angle, let's say 90 degrees. So first I rotate it by x axis and then I rotate it about y axis. A point P, so let's say if I consider point P here. So first I rotate it about x and then I rotate it about y, it will reach somewhere here, right? But if I consider the same point P and first I rotate it about y and then I rotate it about x, again 90 degree, it will be at a totally different location. So if I first rotate by y, this point will go on the other, inside the page. And then if I rotate it about x, it will come somewhere here. So you can see in one position, one configuration, it comes here, and another configuration, it comes here. So this is point P. So this is P1 plus, one rotation is about X and then it is about this thing. So it is P2 here. And then in first rotation, it goes somewhere here. And after second rotation, it comes to this position. So you can see the result is totally different. So therefore, the finite rotations, they don't obey vector law of addition or, the vector law of things, but the rate of change of infinitesimal rotation, which is omega, it follows the vector law of addition. Anyway, that is more details. Now let's go to the example. So that's the main concept in this thing. And again, we can use the same equations that we have derived, the generalized equation. And let us see this example here. So this example says that your omega 1 is given to us as, let's say 0.3 radians per second. And this is in the y direction. So this is j cap. Omega 2 is given as 0.5, which is in the k cap direction. Now both these angular velocities are constant. So this is given to us. This length L from this O to P is given to us as 12 meters. And the question is, find the angular velocities, find the angular velocity omega of the boom, right? So we want to find the angular velocity of this boom. What is this angular velocity? We want to find, is there any angular acceleration, alpha of this boom? And finally, we want to find the velocity of point P and the acceleration of point P with respect to ground. That's the overall question. So now, if this First of all, this cab is rotating with an angular velocity omega. And then with respect to cab, we observe that this boom is rotating with angular velocity omega 2. So this, although omega 2 is with respect to the cab, but angular velocities are independent of reference frames. So I can as well say that this boom or this structure has angular velocity omega 1 and it has also got an angular velocity omega 2. So therefore I can say that omega of the boom is equal to omega 1 plus omega 2 vectorially. And this gives the angular velocity of the boom, which is something like this. Okay. Now we want to get the angular acceleration of the boom. So alpha. Now to do this, we differentiate this equation and what we get is omega 1 dot plus omega 2 dot. Now this is with respect to capital XYZ with everything. So we want to measure it with respect to fixed reference frame. However, we can see that this term is 0 because omega 1 is constant and this is with respect to capital XYZ. But omega 2 is the relative, omega 2 is the rotating reference frame and its derivative with respect to capital XYZ, this is equal to omega 2 dot with respect to small xyz plus the omega of small xyz. Omega of small xyz is omega 1 cross product with the q vector. Q vector here is omega 2. Right? So now here is an application of what we have seen, derivative of a rotating frame. I'll just rewrite that expression. Q dot with respect to capital XYZ is equal to Q dot with respect to small xyz plus omega of small xyz cross product with Q. So this is the again the abstract thing that we derived in the last class, and now here the Q takes the shape of omega 2. So so here we have omega 1 which is with respect to ground, which is a fixed frame, but now then there is a small xyz which is fixed to this yellow cab. So there is a capital XYZ which is fixed to the ground, and then there is small xyz which is attached to this yellow cab which is rotating with omega 1 in the y direction. And from there we are observing that the rate of change of omega 2, right? So Q becomes your omega 2, and therefore this expression omega 2 dot with respect to capital XYZ is equal to omega 2 dot with respect to the this frame, and this is 0, right? Because this is constant. But now we have this extra term here, omega 1 cross omega 1 cross omega 2. And therefore the alpha, now if we calculate this alpha, it will be omega 1 cross omega 2 vectorially, and 1 is in this direction, 2 is in this direction. So it's going to be in I cap direction. Omega 1 cross omega 2 will be in the I cap direction, and if you calculate this magnitude, this will turn out to be 0.15 radian per second, radian per second square, I cap. So now here we can see an interesting phenomena that omega 1 and omega 2 both are constant, but still we are getting an alpha. And we can physically see that this alpha is due to the change in direction of omega 2 caused due to omega 1. So omega 2 direction omega 2 direction is in the z direction k cap. So although the magnitude of omega 2 is constant, but the direction of omega 2 is changing due to the rotating omega 1. And this change in direction of omega 2 due to omega 1 is this term omega 1 cross omega 2. So this is the angular velocity alpha of the boom. And then next, the term which is velocity of point P. So the velocity of point P, first we have to observe the r vector. So so the r vector of, let me copy this picture. Okay, so now if this from here to here is the r vector, so we can take components and we can write this r vector. Once the r vector is known, so this is let me write it down. So it's 10.4 I cap plus 6 j cap. So the velocity is now omega cross r. So if the omega of this boom is known, so this now this origin again, it is not moving with any velocity. So VB term is 0. And also right now there is no relative velocity of point P with respect to point B here. Now in future you will see that there are cases where this point also starts moving in this direction, and that's to make things more complicated. But for now this point is fixed. It is just this whole body is rotating with an angular velocity of omega, which we have already calculated, right? So this is the omega, which is in j plus k direction, and omega is known, r vector is known. We can just take a cross product, right? So this is I j k. Omega is 0.3 is the j cap, this is 0.5 is the k cap. Similarly, this is 10.4, 6 and 0. So the velocity of point P can be directly calculated by this expression omega cross r vector, and this can be calculated. And similarly, the acceleration of the point P, or this tip of the boom, this can be calculated by again we can see the generalized term here. Where is that? Yeah, so in this term we will see that acceleration of the frame is 0, and this is also 0. So what we are left with, and this velocity of P with respect to B is also 0. So what we will be having is this alpha cross r and omega cross r. So these are the two terms which we are going to be left with. So this is going to be alpha cross r plus omega cross r. And in fact, this omega cross r you have already calculated in this part, which is Vp. So this is already it. So again, we have to take cross product of alpha vector, which was 0.15 in the I cap direction. So it is I j k 0.1500. R vector, you can write it down 10.460. So this is the first term, alpha cross r, plus omega cross the v vector that you have already computed here, right? So you can again take a cross product of these vectors, and that's your final expression. So I think it's time. So we'll stop here and see if there are any questions.